Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Shelby here. Thanks for having your camera on, Becky and Renee. Oh, yay, more cameras. Wonderful. There's nothing more exciting than talking to a room on Zoom with no cameras on. So I appreciate you guys making this fun for me. Fun for me. Christy, all good. If you guys are working, I totally understand. No pressure, no pressure. All right, team, my name is Shelby. I'm going to be your host. Today, we're going to give maybe like 60 more seconds here to allow people to find their way in. And I'm super excited to hold space for all the questions. I have a very, very, very brief slideshow to cover some like really generic questions that we get all the time. But the intent and purpose of this call is to answer your questions, to meet you, to know you, to provide any clarity that we can, and see if nurse coaching is the next right step for you, or private practice, or what questions you got about private practice. All right, folks. Got a couple more people trickling in. Oh my gosh, we have someone from Norway here? That's crazy. Norway, Norway? Or like Norway, Kansas? Like a different Norway. I live in Texas. We have like a Paris, Texas here in Texas. But that's legit. Norway, Norway. Karen, that's awesome. Send me a message. Find me on Facebook or something after this. That's hysterical. I want to know how you found us. All right, folks. Well, welcome. Welcome to the Private Practice Q&A. My name is Shelby. If we have never met before, I'm excited that you're spending an hour with me on your Friday, a holiday weekend for most of us. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And like I said, if you can have your camera on, awesome. If you are at work or got kids and doing bedtime, I also understand. No problem. Renee, did you have a question, my friend?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say something. I am having the best time with these clients. I mean, this is like so much. I feel like I'm doing something wrong because it's like, yes, we're serious. Yes, we're coaching. Yes, we're attacking their goals. But it's like, I just feel like I am just having the best time with them.
Oh, Renee, what a great way to start this call. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I re
Yeah.
I remember when I was new in my practice, I was having a similar experience of like, does it get to be this fun all the time? Is this what everyone
Yeah. It almost feels like I'm doing something wrong. Like, I'm not supposed to be having this much fun.
can it be this good? Yeah, and I made a Facebook post about it, gosh, probably back in like 2018. And I had a nurse reach out to me at the time and she was like, "Are you bullshitting me right now? Like are you lying? Are you sure? Like what Kool-Aid are you drinking? I want some." And yeah, that's been my experience too. Definitely even shoot, almost 8 years in now, Renee, I'm still having pinch me moments. So
Yeah.
hopefully they continue. Hopefully they
Yeah,
continue.
let's hope so. I
Yeah.
just had to say that. Thank
I
you.
love that. Oh, thanks, Renee. Cindy.
I gotta say, me too.
Oh, great.
Um, I I had goosebumps peer coaching this morning with somebody over something that was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And we did a 1 hour her, 1 hour me coaching back and forth. And I gotta say, the 45 minutes of the beginning of the session was that when she coached me, I was like, oh my God, I know it did never saw this going in the direction that it did. And it was like a light bulb went on in my head. Like, hello, this is what you're doing, you know?
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
it I'm dumbfounded by it, to be honest with you, how enlightening it can be.
Oh,
Um,
I'm so
so
so excited. I'm so
yeah,
excited for you guys.
yeah,
It's amazing. Congratulations.
yeah.
Congratulations. A nice high to go into the weekend too. Well, with that being said, um, Yeah, Holly, I'm just getting started. I want to get there. Yeah, in due time, in due time. If you guys don't mind popping in the chat where you're from, I know Karen's from Norway, which is pretty rad. That's awesome. And if you guys want to put in the chat where you're from, if you are a nurse or a nurse coach or a nurse coach in training, that'd be helpful for me to know. I'm Shelby. I'm in Austin, Texas. I don't know if we got any other Texas folks, any other fellow howdy y'alls here. Okay, beautiful. Great, great, great. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we got a little bit of a blend and we're a little bit everywhere, which is awesome. Missouri, Texas, we got 2 Missouris. We got an Orlando, Fremont, California, LA, Louisiana. Great. Perfect. Awesome. Beautiful. Long Island. Love it, love it. We got a few coaches in Long Island, Michael. You got some friends up there if you want some. Wonderful. Okay, beautiful team. Thank you for that. That is super helpful. And let's dive in. Like I said, before most of you dropped on here, I have just a couple of slides to like get the wheels flowing here. I promise it's short. It's just the bare bones, the bare basics. This call is intended to really just be in support of our community, to answer questions, to get to know one another, and share the excitement and the love for coaching, apparently, as well. So thanks for the kickoff, team. Yeah, NLP, cool, Karen, awesome, beautiful. I would love to somehow partner, Karen, and get nurse coaching in Norway. I have no idea what that means, but I'm just going to speak it into existence, and we can see where that unfolds to. All right, I'm going to share screen here, and we'll get on it. We'll get on it. All right, my friends, welcome to our private practice Q&A. This is a little about me, the highlights version. Before I was nurse coach Shelby, I was ER nurse Shelby, and then I was travel nurse Shelby, and then I was med surg at tele nurse Shelby. I was a baby nurse. I was one of those little just straight out of college nurses that got on the floor when I was like 21. I don't know who put me in charge of anybody, but they did. And I was burned out. By the age of 27, I had very little resources to just keep up with the demand of traditional healthcare. And when I was 27, it all came to a head. I was working at a really sketchy ER in upstate New York where my husband was stationed in the Army at the time, and that was enough. And it not coincidentally was overlapping with my time in training as a nurse coach. And I remember just walking out of the ambulance day one day and knowing that I was never going back. I knew that was like my defining moment of I was going to go all in on my nurse coaching practice, and the rest is kind of history. Laura, my other half, my co-founder, she and I met in certification. So we became friends around 2018. And into 2019, we partnered together to make our first business, The Successful Nurse Coaches. A lot of you may be familiar with our podcast, or maybe that's how you found out about nurse coaching in general. But our first business was supporting nurse coaches, supporting our community in becoming paid coaches. We coached a lot through the pandemic when people had job insecurity as nurses, and we have coached, that says over 400, but it's close to 500 nurse coaches in their private practice, all the different flavors, all the different things. And if you want to check us out on our podcast, do a vibe check with us. We talk mindset, business, what it really looks like to be a nurse coach. And I'm excited to be here with you guys today and answer your questions that you got about nurse coaching. All right, first things first, if you've never heard the word nurse coach before, I want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So nurse coaching is a collaborative approach that focuses on empowering clients to achieve their life goals. This could be anything: health, wealth, career, family, anything under the life coaching lens. And we do this through education and personalized support. Nurse coaches use their nursing expertise to support clients in making informed, aligned decisions about their future and about the life that they prefer to live. Our key responsibilities as a nurse coach is to assess clients' needs, to be able to know where they're at in the arc of transformation. It's a pretty coachy term there. But our assessment skills as nurses really comes in strong here. It's an asset that we already have. We also co-create plans of action with our clients, thinking like SMART goals. You've probably heard this even just at your traditional job right now, being able to set goals and take action on them. We provide education when it's needed. We get to put on our nurse educator hat. And we also support behavior change and empower our clients to take an active role in their journey, whatever that journey may be. Additionally, we can also have resources or courses or tools that enhance the coaching experience. Not required, but that can be a part of it. Our regulatory requirements, this is something we talk about a lot. As nurses, we want to protect our license. We've all worked very hard for all of the letters behind our name, and we want to be sure that we are not doing anything willy-nilly with it. All of you here in the US know that each of our states has their own board of nursing, and they all kind of have their own flavor. If you have a compact license, awesome, we kind of get to play under the same umbrella. But having an active license, an active RN license is important. You have to adhere to privacy laws, of course, protecting your client's information and understanding your scope of practice, meaning that like we're not going to prescribe or diagnose anything. Same limitations apply that it usually does inside hospital walls as well. So a question I answer probably 6 times a week, if not more. RN license is required to sit for the board exam, the nurse coach board certified, hosted through the AHNCC. However, LPNs, if we have any LPNs on this call, you can still take our course and call yourself a nurse life coach. We will certify you. It's just, unfortunately, the rules are right now that you have to have an RN in order to sit for the board exam. All right, our scope here, again, taking into account like your particular state and their scope, but nurse coaches operate within your scope by providing education, support, and guidance. Again, I just want to harp on that we do not diagnose, we don't treat medical conditions unless you hold additional certifications. There are additional certifications that exist to where you can interpret lab work and you can do supplement protocols, and there's a whole bunch of flavors out here in nurse coaching. So if functional medicine speaks to you, I want to encourage you that there are ways to equip you and widen your scope. But for traditional nurse coaching, NCBC, we don't do any of that. We don't diagnose or treat medical conditions. All right. One of the biggest questions, how is nurse coaching different from therapy? So again, we are within our scope by our state. I know I'm sounding like a broken record here. It's on purpose. We operate under our state scope, but nurse coaches show up here by, oh, I think I copied the same thing twice. Yeah, I did, team. Sorry about that. Here. Okay, the essence here, I forgot to copy my other slide here, but the essence at the bottom here is therapy is rooted in treating pathology. Therapists, if anyone has gone to therapy, I have been in many years of therapy myself, they are looking for the pathology. They are looking for a diagnosis. Therapy is so wonderful and so supportive and totally has its lane. This is not dogging therapy whatsoever. I'm literally still in therapy to this day in conjunction with all the other coaches I have on my team. And coaching, if you can think about this as activating a person's potential. So activating their potential in health, activating their potential in life, activating their potential in their career or in their relationships. Coaching tends to be a more forward, looking into the future. What kind of life do you want to live? What is your dream? How do we actualize that? And therapy tends to be more past focused most of the time, to where what has happened before to get you here, and unpacking and making sense of your life from that lens. All right, team, that was a super highlights version. I promised it was going to be quick. Couple questions about Nurse Life Coach Academy. We have a next cohort starting in July. So if you want to put that on your radar, that's our next one. We are endorsed by the AHNA and the AHNCC. I always have to say that one kind of slow. Karen, all the way in Norway. Unfortunately, we don't have any clout all the way across the ocean. However, reach out to me. Let's see if there's some way I can help you. If this is calling, if this is calling to you. So I just wanted to float that by you guys. And if you want to follow us on Instagram or come join our Facebook group, we have those as well. Nurse Life Coach Academy. Okay. That's the bare bones. That's the bare bones. And I really want to take the rest of our hour here to just open the floor to you. What questions do you have about nurse coaching? What questions do you have about private practice? If I don't have the answer, I know someone who does. So don't be afraid to ask anything too big, too small. And I'll be honest with you if I don't, if I don't have an answer for you. But yeah, anyone buzzing? Also, if you're a current student of ours, you know my ability to hold silence is exquisite. We can be here all day. Becky, did you have a question?
I do. I am getting ready to relocate to Costa Rica, and I will keep my compact nursing license in Washington State, and I will become a resident of Costa Rica. And since I'm doing all of my work over the computer, I'm assuming that's
Yeah. Okay. Totally okay. Absolutely. I would think one thing I would check, Becky, is if you have to, are like you moving there permanently? Is this like a summer spot in Costa Rica or is it a forever spot?
it's a winter spot
A winter spot. Okay.
because
I-
we have bad weather here.
Okay, yeah, I would just check in Washington State, like the business requirements for how many months you have to be in Washington in order to claim like tax status, but I would assume that you're probably going to be under their max
Yeah.
for that.
I'll still pay Washington taxes, and I'll still report to the Washington Board of Nursing. So I'm thinking that I'm fine unless we permanently move, but then that's another thing.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine too. I know that to prevent, and I know this is like not sexy to talk about, but to prevent fraud, they just might have rules of like you have to be 6 months in, like physically in Washington in order to claim it. But I would check, I would see, and just be sure. That would be the only thing that kind of pops up in my brain for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Costa Rica. That sounds so fun.
Yeah. So this is my transition out of, being a nurse all day, every day in the United States to not merely being ready to retire, but definitely wanting to continue making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's like a big internal and external move there, Becky. It's a big decision that reflects the inner landscape. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh, thanks for sharing. Good question. All right, Tabitha.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually a Ghanaian nurse who have been practicing over 20 years now. Have started preparing to relocate. I have actually taken the NCLEX examination and I passed last year.
Oh, cool.
I just know, I want to know what to really do to prepare to become a nurse coach. Presently, being aligned with my agents to work in Rochester,
Okay.
I think Rochester General Hospital. And it's a process now. Hopefully, maybe by next year, all things will be aligned. But I would also like to know what to do because I've been told with this nursing coaching practice, you can have your normal stream of work and also do that for your extra activity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to know what to do to prepare for that.
Yeah, to prepare to take certification, Tabitha?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so many things. Not in like an overwhelming way. There's just a lot of
Yes.
options. There's a lot of options.
My NCLEX gave me the opportunity to work in New York and Montana. So these
Okay.
are the two states I can be working in.
Cool. Yeah, if anyone else has a similar, like we're in a similar waiting period of like knowing that nurse coaching is on your horizon, it's just not the right time. Um, what to do to productively wait and kind of keep your feet wet. So first thing is I'm going to self-promote our stuff really quick that because we have a lot of resources on our YouTube channel that's under the Successful Nurse Coaches. There's just so much free content that you can tap into there. We have 185 episodes of podcast that you can also tune into as well. And you'll notice in the podcast timeline that about July of 2024, we started launching Nurse Life Coach Academy specific episodes. So if you just want to tune into those, they have the blue square. Those are probably the most relevant for all of you that are in training or haven't started yet. So those are two really like fine-tuned, very specific resources for you. Also, Laura and I host master classes monthly for Nurse Life Coach Academy. So if you ever want to come join us for one of those and learn, more than welcome to. Honestly, I would think that working with a nurse coach, Tabitha, would be my next recommendation. We have a sign up for free coaching from our students on our website, and you can tap in. And whenever you go through nurse coaching certification, you have 60 hours of pro bono coaching that you have to do. It's a part of your practicum. And I think the most integrous nurse coaches I know, the nurse coaches that are super efficient and powerful, that is often a reflection of the inner work they have done themselves. And so if you want to go sign up for free coaching, get 5 or 6 hours of free coaching with a nurse coaching training, you guys, there's a link on our website. I'll make sure it goes out in an email to you too. But those would be my top recommendations is if you have space, experience coaching, be immersed in coaching. And Tabitha, anything I'm missing for you? I could go on forever, but I don't want to overwhelm.
Okay, thank you very much. I love this opportunity, and I will also love to enjoy the free coaching system so that I'll be preparing effectively for that. Thank you very
Cool.
much.
Okay. Yeah, I would. And then kind of like a peek behind the curtain into my brain here. I think that if that resonates for anyone and you get into some free coaching support, the next steps will illuminate themselves in that coaching space of what do I do next? What do I focus on next? What do I learn next? I think it would be a really cool launching point for you guys. Okay, Joyce.
So, my name is Joyce, and I'm actually an LVN LPN, and I am working as a nurse coach now with On Track Health. I think I have tried to connect Laura with one of my bosses for you guys to be able
Oh
to.
yeah, she mentioned that
Mhm.
earlier this week. That's super rad. Totally.
And I am just trying to look at some because you did I kind of joined in a little late. I had troubles navigating the link. But so my question is like two parts. You did say that for LVNs or LPNs will be having a hard time sitting in the board. So would that affect the certification, or is it still valid to do the certification as an LVN to be a nurse coach? Because I'm kind of like having a difficulty understanding that kind of
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Or if because I'm already I'm close to a year being a nurse coach now, but I have not had any formal education with it aside from the certifications that my company has already given me during training, the CBT, the DBT, and things like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
motivational interviewing. And I think my question would lie on how would I go from my experience and my hours now to having the certification?
Yeah, totally. Good question. Also too, Joyce, I want to take a micro moment to celebrate that there are nurse coaching jobs in existence because rewind like 5 years ago, there were none.
Mm-hmm.
Zero, zero. So this is like
Yes.
a good sign of the market, of the
Yes.
environment, of where everybody's heads
Mm-hmm.
are. Great. Um,
And I just love the opportunity that um, I see myself as one of the people who bridges the gap for the people who actually needs care right now, and being able to draw out the motivation in them on what they want to do and how to move forward, and
yeah.
actually just fire up that passion, because sometimes people just think that this is the end game for them, like there's no more hope, and you being
Mhm.
able to actually light up that hope is something that is very, very, is a good sign that you're doing your job and bridging that gap for them to be able to be well.
Yep. 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 All, yes, all the above. All the above. Okay, so I, from like just a pure logistics standpoint, you can absolutely take our course, Joyce, and you can call yourself a certified nurse life coach. We, Nurse Life Coach Academy, give you that certification. It's yours. You'll get a paper with your name on it, with our signatures, the whole thing. Right now, unless you write a letter of appeal, which you totally could, who knows what they'll say, you could write a letter of appeal to the AHNCC, it's like the American Holistic Credentialing Corporation, and ask them. Because right now an RN is required to sit for like the official boards that you have to take. However, for now, if you have the board certification or not, if you're in private practice, it doesn't really matter. We advocate for board certification because it just legitimizes us across the field. It helps like
Mhm.
elevate us as a whole and for the
And
public.
also it adds to the credibility of
Oh yeah.
the person. You did say people work hard to get those letters
Mhm.
after their names, and I think being able to be a certified coach that is certified by this big industries that actually accredits the legitimacy of the program is actually a big help. So I would like to know how steps moving forward from there as an LVN. And um, like what I said, I've been doing nurse coaching for almost a year now, and have had certifications of trainings. Um, wouldn't it be redundant to go through that again? Or
Yeah, I
because
think
I'm
it
just
kind of depends on your training, Joyce.
Mhm.
It sounds like you have like motivational interviewing is something we cover in our course for sure. But we also cover like emotional intelligence and how to
Mhm.
like set up a coach with a framework so that there is a flow
Mhm.
to it and how to troubleshoot a session. And if your client is giving you the case of like, I don't know, like what to do
Mhm.
then.
Resistance.
Yeah, yeah. And so you have a lot of experience under your belt, which is just as equally important here. I think that there's probably some things that we could teach you that would be fresh, that would be new, that could elevate your current practice. Also, too, if On Track's willing to pay for your tuition, that would be super rad as well. Like that would be awesome. Um, some hospitals also do pay for tuition, just for our listeners out there, because we have CEUs associated. But
Mhm.
that would, if you wanted to get a certification, I think we're probably the most relevant one for you, but you're doing it already, Joyce. So, like, you obviously don't have to. There's no hard rule here for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess my fear is just for in the future when everything has been, regulated in place and become more strict, because, healthcare is very finicky in terms of the future.
Yeah.
And if something just comes up that would regulate that, for a nurse to be a coach, you need to be certified. It's just a little, you know,
Yeah. Could totally
daunting.
happen. Yeah. Could
Hmm.
absolutely happen. It could. I haven't heard any whispers of that just yet, Joyce,
Okay.
but it could. It could happen. Um,
Okay.
I bet if all of you called your board of nursing today in all the different states that you're in, they would like give you a blank stare and be like, "What is nurse coaching? I have no idea what you're talking about." Like
Hmm.
there's a big lag from where we are to where our boards of nursing are. So we just move forward not being deterred, but just doing our best with what we have and having a lot of
Okay.
integrity and a lot of trust, which nurses do. Um, but if I hear anything, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh, and just last one. So for private practice, would it just be an LLC? Am I correct?
Yeah.
An LLC. And how do we track from there the development of the program or the private practice?
Ooh, that's a big question. Can you rephrase it for me? What are you actually asking?
So we are going to register the business as something, it's like an
Uh-huh.
LLC, right? And then from there, how do we track the sessions, or how do we bill? Is there
Ah.
something that's going on in the back end that we need to file for us to be considered legitimate business, things like that?
Yeah, yeah. So you need an LLC. Depending on your state, you might need a business license. So depending on where you're at, Joyce, that might be required, not everywhere. And then literally that's it. You're in business. That's all that's
Okay.
required of you. There are other programs and like client relations managers, CRMs that you can have for billing, for scheduling, for insurance does not take nurse coaching, so we don't work with insurance, but we can work with FSA and HSA accounts through Stripe, which is a payment processor. So you get your LLC set up, business license if you need it. Then we set up your payment processor. We give you contracts in the course that you can have that are legal, and really, like, that's it. You run.
Okay.
You run from there. Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Got it.
there's fortunately no JCO like coming to knock on your door and being like, "Hey Joyce, show us your documentation and your
Mhm.
paperwork." We just get to do our best here. And
Okay.
um, one thing I will say, holding on to notes for clients has a 5-year time window. So if you do take notes, computer, laptop, otherwise, and you're wondering like how long, that's really kind of like the only rule we have out here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
good
it.
question. I
Well,
got you.
well, thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
you.
welcome. Absolutely, absolutely. Rashika,
Hey, Shelby.
hey, hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I extended our vibe check to this.
Keep
You
it
passed the
coming. I'm
vibe check,
here.
so I came on to this meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 3 simple questions. First question is, how difficult is it to prepare for the boards? Is it as intense as preparing for the NCLEX? That's the first question.
For sure, no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I, I, oh gosh, I maybe know 5 nurse coaches out of thousands that have not passed the board exam
Okay.
the first time. And that's more of a test anxiety issue rather than like how hard the test is per se. Um, there is a book, y'all, The Art and Science of Nurse Coaching. You can get it on Amazon. It's about 100 pages. That is our only testing like source, our study guide, and we recommend that you read it 2 or 3 times front to back. You learn the theories and the theorists, kind of like the dry boring stuff of nurse coaching, because that's what they test you on.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you for answering that. And then the second part to that question, once I sit for my boards, do I have to recertify like every 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, stuff like that?
Yes, good question. Yes, it's every 5 years, and you do so with 100 CEUs.
Okay. And then the last question, just what you were telling Joyce in regards to having your employer pay for this. I do work for a really big hospital organization, MedStar. They have like 6 hospitals in the state of Maryland, and I work for MedStar. So, and I do know that they will do tuition reimbursement. Will this
Cool.
particular program fall under what it would it fall under like a CEU? Or I just want to know how to approach
Yeah.
my HR department with this.
Yeah, I would say probably like I want to become certified in a new specialty and it has
Okay.
CEUs as a part of their training would probably be the approach I would take. And Rashika, if you go on our website, I can also email this to you as well. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a program PDF that we have for our folks that want program reimbursement from their hospital or whoever they work for. And that's more of like a logistics outline so that whenever you have that conversation, you can hand them that and they like know what's inside of our program. I would either attach that in an email to them or print it off if you're doing it in person.
Okay. I'll look for it once this is over, but if not, could you just shoot that over to me,
Yeah,
please?
for sure. For sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Shelby.
Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we've had some success with people getting reimbursed for the course so that you guys don't have to pay out of pocket for it. So if anyone else needs the program PDF, it is on our website. It's just all the way at the bottom. So you got to like scroll past me and Laura a few times to find it at the bottom. And I have been a nurse majority of my career in Texas. There is no such thing as program reimbursement in Texas. We are paid historically low in our state. And whenever I found out that other nurses were getting compensated for CEUs, I was salty. But I am excited that it is available to some of us. And if it is, absolutely. Get someone to cover your ticket. All right, Ashley, what you got?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to see say I missed it. So to piggyback off of what Rashika said, as far as like recertification, having to like, you said something about CEUs. Can you repeat that again? I missed
Yeah,
that.
100 CEUs every
Okay.
5 years. for
Okay,
the
every 5
nurse
years.
coach. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. And what's cool, what's happening now, team, is that when Laura and I first got certified, there was almost no resources available for CEUs, for further training, for anything like that. And whenever you come to like recertify after your 5 years, you kind of want to do something that's relevant to nurse coaching. You don't want to take CEUs that are just not relevant to your current practice. And now nurse coaches that have gone before y'all, they are all creating little mini courses so that you can have a place to shop around a little bit from different nurse coaches to take relevant CEUs. CEUs from people who've been in private practice that have a different experience than me or Laura, that aren't business focused at all. So that's really exciting. I'm very proud of our community for doing that. So there'll be more options for you guys in 2030 when you get to recertify, which is bizarre, by the way. 2030 feels like a made up year. Yeah. All right, Ashley, anything else? Any other questions? Are we?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Cindy, I was hoping you would be here.
Shelby, great to see you and happy Easter to you and yours.
Yeah. Happy
Um,
Easter.
Friend, I want to ask one question today. It's a burning question for me. I'm all about execution.
Yeah.
So because I can't wait till the end of the program to like get my mind focused around what are the top 5 recommendations for driving clients? Like what's our initiatives going to be to locate and bring clients to us? What is your guidance on that?
Cindy, what's your nursing history? Like, where was your last job?
I'm still current. I do home health,
Home health.
but
Okay.
this is my exit strategy,
Yeah,
friend. I'm
yeah.
getting out the door. I cannot continue to do that.
Totally. You just used the word initiative, and I was like, oh, I've never heard anyone. That's a very like nurse management term there. But yes, I hear you. So Cindy, you're in our course. Have you tapped into the business modules yet?
I saw it was loaded in and I was very excited about it, but I haven't started it yet. So
Okay.
should I just
Cool.
start on the page 1 and go down the list?
Yes. So that's where I'm going to redirect you to, but I'll answer your
Okay.
question here as
Okay.
well. And so that everybody that doesn't have access to that knows. And really, first and foremost, so when you are in certification, like I mentioned before, you are doing 60 pro bono hours In the course, you are practicing, you're also coaching your peers. There's a whole bunch of coaching that's going on, and you get 60 hours of coaching. And then we want you to keep coaching. We want you to keep coaching. And our next goal is to kind of like wipe the slate clean on your coaching hours and shoot for 100. Shoot for 100 coaching hours. And so for some folks, this takes 3 months. For some folks, this takes 8 months, just kind of depending on how full your life is and what your capacity is to hit the gas here. But in coaching for 100 hours, Cindy, you are going to continue to evolve your nurse coaching skill. You're going to continue to build on your confidence in this skill. You're going to serve humans, and a lot of them, over 100 hours. So it builds your referral network, your organic market, so that people know what you do. They have an experience with what
Okay.
you do, and you can ask for a referral. So that's like traditional word of mouth.
Okay.
And once you get to about 50, 60 hours on those 100 hours, we will probably know your niche, or we will have a sneaking suspicion or more clarity on who you like working with. And then from that point, Cindy, we can start kind of like better targeting where to spend your time. So I was just talking to a nurse coach right before I hopped on this call. She's in one of our programs. She wants to do coaching around PMDD specifically. She's like a Gen Z nurse, has a history of PMDD, and she wants to coach around PMDD. And I was through a functional medicine lens. And so we were kind of reverse engineering of like, okay, where do Gen Z folks hang out that also have PMDD? Is it online? Is it in person? If they're in person, where are they? What podcasts do they listen to? What doctors are they going to? What are they Googling late at night to help them with their crazy cycles and all the other things that come along with PMDD? And we were able to reverse engineer it a little bit on how to better target those folks.
Okay.
So that's a little longer term strategy there. Don't get hung up on that. But coach, 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 coach. And usually by the time you get to the end of 100 coaching hours, you've made anywhere from $15,000 to $45,000 in your coaching practice.
Sounds good to me. It's all about replacing the income and moving on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And in the course, Cindy, we walk you through how to structure those calls because they're a little different than just regular coaching calls like you're doing now in the course.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of different flow. You're going to lead a little bit, but it's led with a lot of service. We're going to meet clients where they are, and then we'll walk you through how to do effective proposals that don't feel gross or weird or like you're twisting people's arm. We hold your hand through all that. Yep.
Sounds good. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna be on the lookout next week. I'm gonna drop you a message. I'd like about 10 minutes. I've got a question or two. I've got a new client, and I want to make sure that I think I'm on point,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm on the right thing. And I think that just a brief few little minutes and you'll put me at ease.
Okay.
And I would appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, Cindy.
Thank you
Feel
much.
free. You're welcome. All right, team. Also, too, I look down whenever you guys are off camera so that I can hear better. I don't know if any of you guys do that. It's like squinting whenever you put on mascara. I swear it improves your technique, you know? Kara,
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Hey, sorry, no picture, no video.
That's
I'm at
okay.
work right now.
I'm gonna
and
close
I
my
got the
eyes
Zoom app.
so I listen better. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm already in the program. I just have a quick question for you. I RSVP'd to the coach calls and I realized I want to do the afternoon ones and not the morning ones. How
Mm-hmm.
do I un-RSVP so I can re-RSVP to the right times?
Oh, good cue. I would reach out to
Thank
Kaya. Kaya is our wonderful problem solver on our team, and she probably has the answer. So if you want to email support@nurselifecoachacademy.com, Kaya can get you sorted. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
Kara.
perfect. And then
Yeah.
my only other question for you, so I'm a mom of 2 and I definitely want to stay up on all my coursework. I am just kind of a chronically do it last minute girly.
Yeah.
When you guys look over how we finish our coursework, I mean, I'm trying to stay up week by week, but if I get behind, is there like hard stop due dates for anything, or is it more self-paced kind of vibes?
Yeah, kind of both. Kara, a little
Okay.
column A, a little column B. So we definitely are flexible. I have 3 young kids myself, 3 under
hmm
6. I totally get it. So life is full. And what are you in cohort 2 or 3?
What's the one that just started on Tuesday? Is that
3.
cohort
Yeah, year
3? I'm
3.
in cohort 3. So I'm
Okay,
like,
cool.
I'm not bad. I'm starting week 2 stuff today. So I'm not like
Yeah.
super
Nah.
behind. It's just, I just kind of chronically am always about a weekish behind on things.
That's okay.
If
I
I'm
would
being
reach
honest with
out to
you.
your lead, whether it's Amy or Megan, and tell them. Just loop them in to the process, or they
hmm
are going to be lovingly checking in on you regularly. And so if you can just loop them into your process, they are trained to be understanding. So it won't be a problem at all, Kara.
Okay, that's kind.
Yeah,
I always get my work finished. I'm really motivated to do this. It's just kind of my personality and then the time that I have. I
for
just
sure.
mostly do things just like a little bit late. I always get them finished and I put my whole heart into it. It's just, it takes me a little while.
Thank God for the last minute so that things get done. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So email her and then email them about how I'm just a little bit
Uh-huh.
of a late girly.
Yeah, yeah. Loop them
Okay.
in. We're here to support you. Also, our team, I think that we fall on the neurodivergence scale somewhere. Everyone on our team. So we get
hmm
that different brains work differently and different lives need to fit into the course. So just if communication is the number one thing for us. So if you keep us in the loop, we're on board. It's like if the ghosting or non-responsive stuff happens, then we start to worry about you.
Awesome. Yeah, hopefully I won't ghost anybody.
Okay,
But
cool.
awesome. I love that. And I love that about being neurodivergent as well, because it's so true.
Yeah.
Everybody's brain just works so differently.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, on that note, I just had a patient roll up at work, but thank you. This was perfect timing for this.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Kara. Okay, Holly, I got you next. I have a quick question in the chat. How much is our program? Our program is $3,999. It's a 6.5 month program. Catherine, if you want to check out our website, you can look at all the nitty-gritty details, but that is the big cost. And we are about $2,000 less than any other program on the market. Holly, my friend.
Hey, so I hope that I don't glitch and freeze during this. That's why I turned my camera off because
Yeah,
I
all
thought
good.
I had bad internet, but I found out it's just because I have a crappy old laptop. So I got to work on that. But
Fair enough.
I'm gonna try to ask this in a way that makes sense because my knowledge about business is so limited. I don't even know if I can express my question well. I just started my LLC, even though I'm just starting off in the coaching training program, which I will
Okay.
say I love so much.
Yeah.
But um, so I'm just starting out, but I figured if I put a timestamp on okay, hey, this business has existed, even if I'm not ready to receive clients right away, it was just smart to do that. But it's kind of like a all-encompassing family business, and there will be related similar businesses under that. But I just don't know because I have finalized my concept for what my coaching part of this larger umbrella business is. Can you tell me, does it make sense to start a smaller business under that umbrella or just flop everything there? Do you understand? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Okay, so Holly, I will say at the beginning of this that I'm not a business advisor in the tax realm, of
Yeah.
where all this comes together. So I would think just off the bat, it would make sense to keep it separate. But
hmm
I also don't personally know the nuances of your finances. So I'm open to that not being the complete answer for you. Do you have a bookkeeper or a CPA or someone in your corner that you can ask?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Because everything's so new. So do you think probably just getting somebody on board is
I would think that would be helpful just so that they could paint a better picture for you of yeah, it does make sense. Put it under this umbrella. It's gonna be this helpful tax break. But what I anticipate them saying is to separate it all out, just to keep it clean and easier to manage. Both Laura and I have several LLCs under our name as well
Mhm.
for the multitude of different companies and businesses that we run. So we have taken that approach. So I might be biased in that advice, but we have a bookkeeper. Her name is Erin, and she's under Sapphire Bookkeeping Solutions. She also does taxes. She's exquisite. She's one of the very few flat out recommendations I can give. She's done 80% of the books of nurse coaches out here making money. So she's very familiar with like our business model. But if you want to reach out to her, she would be a great resource for you.
Okay. All right. Do you mind sharing that in either the chat or should I like email you to, I don't know.
Here, I'll put the link here.
And look, you were saying, oh, and then we have several businesses. I'm all over here nodding my head like, yes, girl, I know. I listen to your podcast all day long at work. I feel like I know you.
That is still so trippy to me. Where when I get on calls with people, I'm like, all right, you probably know my whole life story, but can you tell me yours first, please? Yeah. All right. In the chat for you, Holly, her
Thank
website.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Erin is, speaking of like different brains, y'all, Erin's brain is neurotic about numbers and about spreadsheets and about keeping things in the right category. And I'm so grateful to have her because my brain does not work that way. Rylan.
Hi.
Hi.
I just have a question about exams and certifications. I'm actually just enrolled to start the program in July, and I'm really excited.
Sweet.
But I know that there's a holistic nurse certification and a nurse coach certification, and I know I'm eligible to take both.
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious, and I saw there was like a combined credential we get to put at the end of our name if we have both. So I was kind of interested on your opinion for like if that's beneficial, if that's necessary, how you feel about those things. Also, how much do the exams cost? I was kind of having trouble figuring out that information.
Yeah, good question. Good question. So I'm gonna kind of like answer your question a little backwards, Rylan, but I promise I'll get to all of that. So when you take our course, it's kind of like being in a version of nursing school to where we certify you. You get to be a certified life coach or nurse life coach at the end. We give you papers similar to when all of you graduated nursing school and you got your papers to sit for the NCLEX. So you will get papers from us that checks all the boxes, and then you will go and you will sit for your boards. The board certification is separate. Both of those tests, the holistic nurse and your nurse coaching test, are separate from us. That's done through a different party. And the holistic, I'm assuming, is a similar price, but the nurse coaching exam is $400. Rylan, if you are a member of the AHNA, the American Holistic Nurses Association, you get like $75 off. So that might be worth it. But the test is $400. That book I was mentioning earlier, The Art and Science of Nurse Coaching, is like $40 on Amazon. So, and that's the one, and we have a study guide in the course, but the book is affordable. It's not like a traditional nurse textbook that's $1,000, which is great. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, Rylan, I'm assuming that the holistic nurse exam is similarly priced just because they're hosted from the same credentialing body. My opinion on which test to take to do both, I think that nurse coaching gives you, especially if you want to coach, Rylan, it's like the most relevant board exam for you. There are a lot of nurse coaches that like to get both, but getting the holistic nurse behind your name doesn't widen your scope in any way. It just frankly gives you more letters behind your name. So if there was a value add from having both, it's really just like a personal decision. Like if it's important to you to have both, then you can get both. However, I think that the nurse coaching exam is just more relevant for coaching in general. And they are two separate tests. So if you take the nurse coaching exam, you get the NCBC behind your name. If you take the holistic nurse exam, you get the, I think it's like HN behind your name. And then there's like a super, if you get both, they like automatically combine to make this super acronym that I'm not even going to pretend to remember in this moment. That's really long. Does that answer your question, Rylan?
Yes, I think so. I was just kind of curious to see if it added like value or benefit more because I know the nurse coach is like my priority,
Yeah.
but also like just personally, I'm super invested in like holistic health, obviously, which is I feel like a lot of us why we're doing this. So I didn't know if it kind of added something. And I guess now that I know about the CEUs, I wonder if you can use the same CEUs to recertify for both as well.
That is a good question. That is a good question. I would think that if you have both and you needed to recertify for like the combo, that it would probably be the same, but that's a good question for me to look into. I'm not precisely sure on that one. Yeah, I think of holistic nursing as like a big umbrella and it covers a lot of things of like healing touch and Reiki and aromatherapy and mindfulness practices. And like there's all of these different certifications that fall under the holistic nurse umbrella, nurse coaching being one of them. And so we're kind of like pulling a resource out from under the umbrella as nurse coaches and being like, yeah, this is the one that's most relevant for me right now. But over time, Rylan, if especially as you go through the years and like have to take more CEUs, you could totally add holistic nurse to the end of your name. I just don't know that currently right now in 2025 that it changes any opportunity for you or makes you more relevant to like jobs or anything like that. Nurse coach would be the priority.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Good question. Hey, Renee.
Hey, question. Since we're on the topic of the holistic end of it, would you have an idea of what the prep for that exam should look like? Like, is there a program or like what would you say? Do you know of anything? Like, what would the
I
recommendation be?
am not sure what that test is like because I haven't taken it.
No,
However,
not the test, the prep for it.
the prep
Like
for
how we're prepping right now within our course, our cohort to take the exam. Like, is there something like that for the holistic end of it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I
No?
think there
Okay.
are just like certain CEUs that qualify you to sit for it.
Okay.
Also a good question, Renee. I
Okay.
might float that out to our alumni community over at the Successful Nurse Coaches that have been practicing for a while that have that credentialing, and I'll ask them what they
Okay.
have to say. Yeah,
Okay.
good
Great.
question
Thank you.
for sure. All right, folks. Probably have time for one more question here as we wrap up. Anything else?
Shelby, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Cindy, sorry. Laura mentioned in one of our classes about a card game that her and her husband use to divvy up like household chores or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what the name of that is? Because
Oh, I do,
then
Cindy. I
I want
do.
to get it for one of my clients.
Yeah. It is called Fair Play is the book. And if you Google Fair Play, you will find the cards on their website. They also have a podcast if they would prefer. And the podcast is like they break down each chapter of the book for one episode of the podcast. So if that's more their flavor, they can do that too. But yeah, Fair Play is about the sharing of the like domestic labor in the household and the mental burden of what it takes to run a household. We come up a lot against this because we primarily work with women and they manage the house and they know what the kids are having for lunch and they're working and they want to start a business. And it's like we have to figure out how to parcel that out and share the responsibility so that folks have space for their practice, for nurse coaching, etc. But I find it insanely relevant with most women, Cindy. So
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Is it Marie?
Shelby. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Mabel. Oh, go ahead, Mabel. And then I think it's Marie or
Yes,
Mary. Yeah, we'll go next. Go ahead,
just a
Mabel.
quick question, Shelby. So in order to take this test to be certified, you said we have to read the book a few times, right?
Mhm.
Are you guys going to be able to do like some type of outline or something to kind of help us, to go to specifics of where we have to concentrate a little bit more?
Yeah, we have a study guide, Mabel. Yeah, it's in the course. And if you want it, send me a message after this. I can get it to you.
That would be wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Shelby.
No problem. No problem. All right. Mary, I'm guessing on the name here. Maybe?
Sorry, I was having trouble
Oh,
unmuting.
there you are.
Yes, it's Marie.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was having trouble. My phone froze up. And yes, you were saying it right, Marie.
Cool.
I was wondering about to sit for the coach working nurse. Are there a certain number of hours? So I have a lot of work experience, but for the past year, I've been very, very part-time.
Like a certain number of like bedside hours, Marie?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And I think that if you have worked 2 years full time within the past 5 years, you will hit the mark for it. Pretty easy.
So I've been okay. Is there like a number I can go and look at somewhere? I've
There
been working
is.
part-time for I don't know, 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be totally fine. Let's
Okay.
let's actually see if I can pull up a number for you. Hang tight, hang tight.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
populating. I'm using ChatGPT if you guys are unfamiliar and just having it play my assistant right now. There is a certain hour requirement. I can't remember if it's like 2,000 or... Oh, okay, so here we go. Clinical practice requirements for BSNs is 2 years of full-time or 4,000 hours part-time as an RN within the past 5 years. And for associate degree nurses, it's 4 years full-time or 8,000 hours part-time in the past 7 years. So I will pop this in the chat too. And this is on the American Holistic Nurses Association website. You guys can find that here too. Marie, I would think that you hit the mark here.
Maybe. Yeah, it's kind of the BSN ADN thing makes it even more complicated because I've had my ADN since 2010, and then I got my BSN about a year and a half ago. But since getting my BSN is when I went very, very part-time.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. You know, here's also what I would do. I've had so many people have such high success with this. I can't even remember anybody getting told no. Email the board, Marie, and tell them of like, hey, I have this much experience. This is how long I had my ADN, how long I had my BSN, and map it out for them. And every time I've had a nurse do that, they always get approved.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would do that before trying to sit for the exam.
I would. I think it might bring you a little peace to know.
Yeah. Rather than doing that all and have them be like, no.
Yeah. I would check first and be a little bit of a squeaky wheel. They get a lot of feedback from our community regularly. So if you have to email them more than once, I would. But I just had another nurse do this like last month and get approved.
Okay, great. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, that was holding me back. Okay.
No problem.
Thank you.
For sure.
Shelby,
Yeah.
Shelby, can I ask how they have you verify that? Do you have to verify it with your employer, or do they just ask you when you say no?
Yeah, you just kind of like check a box. It's like the honor system. Yeah. For sure. That may be changing over time, but I think that you like provide like a work history or something similar. Yeah. All right, my friends. So I want to honor everyone's time today and land the plane for all of us and just say thank you for spending an hour of your time this Friday afternoon. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us info@nurselifecoachacademy.com. Our website is nurselifecoachacademy.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. Feel free to just DM me or Laura. Our inboxes are open. And we look forward to seeing you guys inside the course, seeing you in private practice in the months to come. But I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll be talking soon. All right, everybody. Bye.